Hello everybody, and welcome to another Fish Tech show. I'd like to call it a bit of a podcast. It's not just an instruction video, as you would see, like a formal instruction video. I like to talk to you as if you were in the room, be that a good or a bad thing. We will see. But guys, this is the much anticipated Loskop chart. I know you guys have been asking for an update of this chart for a very long time. I think the original stuff was done in 2018, if I'm correct, in lieu for I think it was the World Predator Games in 2019. I'm open to correction here. My dates it could be 2017 anyway. But essentially Loskop was mapped so that the guys for the World Games, the Predator guys, would have a really decent chart. And unfortunately the dam was quite low then. I think it was around about 80%. I'm open to correction once again, but I think it was around about 80%. I know the dam was down about 3 meters, 10 feet, roughly about 10 feet. But now recently, a couple of weeks ago, in April 2024, I went back. The dam was 101%. It was going over the dam wall, and put the AMIs in there, my unmanned survey vessels, the USVs, and they did a lot of work. Unfortunately, I had a bit of an issue with the one boat. It had a problem with a compass, I believe. It was something was off there. So the one boat did 90% of the work. So it took a little bit longer than expected. It's a 6,000 acre body of water, and it took 6 days. So USVs are definitely the way to go. But while I'm on that topic about the USVs, I ran into a lot of people, even during the week. I don't normally map during the weekend because it's just too busy. So I really only map during the week. But around the world, we are going to, especially when we go to the United States, we are going to run into a lot of people that are fishing during the week. And this happened at Loskop Dam. I think one of the main reasons there, one, there's your charters that run there on Loskop quite often, daily in fact. And then it appears you've got quite a few retirees. I think the guys, I don't know if they're permanent there or partially permanent, but for extended periods of time, and they spend a lot of time on the water. And one of the preferred ways of fishing that I saw on Loskop was a guy would go out with a boat and put out his tri-anchor system. That is a nightmare for us, because that takes from his boat, which is already a hazard, and now he's got these massive big anchors. And like where you go up into the olifants in the far west of the dam, there's a little inlet there that the guys really, really like. And if you put a boat in there that blocks that entrance, well, that's it. So every now and again you're going to see on the charts there's a little blank spot. I did try my best to go back to those spots and rescan them, but you might find a couple little spots here and there where I just didn't get the opportunity to go back and rescan that section. But having said that, just to close off on that topic, is the world inland waters, especially inland waters, I'm talking about inland waters around the world, Australia, United States, Europe, everywhere. There is a lot of contour data for this available. It was through Navionics originally, and then obviously the guys that really picked up their game was Lake Master, which then got bought out by Johnson Outdoors, and that's the primary mapping system for the Hummingbird units now in the States. We do also have Lake Master in South Africa. We do now also have a little bit of Lake Master in Australia, doing some interesting stuff there. They've managed to copy my, it's not copying, but they've hanging on my coattails, as it were, with their aerial HD stuff, which is very exciting. And for me, the most exciting thing is they've managed to get these hummingbirds to run high definition imagery, which is very exciting. That might prove something good for the guys around the world with the hummingbird units. Whereas Lawrence, of course, has been doing it for a very, very long time. But there is an update coming for the Lawrence guys as well. I can't divulge too much information, but CMAP is making some big roads in the mapping industry, and we can see some big changes soon. How long that soon is, I don't know. But for the guys that have currently got your Lawrence units, your HDSs, your Elite FSs, TIs, and all that, your units are still going to work. Don't worry. Don't panic about that. But the main story is, guys, you're going to start seeing the world needs to be rescanned. Inland waters of the world needs to be rescanned. Now that's a massive statement. It's a massive project out there, but it's going to have to be done. And the reason why it's going to have to be done is because of what you're going to see in this video. And this is what anglers are going to want from their charts in the future. So for us South Africans, you guys are together. We are leading the field by miles. We've already got a 5-year jump on the rest. But the gap is now closing. Everyone's going to cotton onto this pretty soon now, and we're going to start to see a lot of high drones on the waters around the world remapping with the latest high-tech sonars. So that is coming, and with that, when you've got machinery and people together, you have two types of attitudes that I've found, especially on Loskop, and not just Loskop, but I've seen generally, in my years of mapping, especially autonomously. You get two types of people. You get one type that says, wow, that's interesting. The boat's going to be passed in 10 seconds. Let's just reel up our lines, let the thing go. Then you've got the other side. It's foreign. I don't know if it scares them or something they haven't seen or whatever it is, but they become quite emotional, and then they become violent. And I understand that human concept, of the unknown. I get it. I do understand that we do have that problem as human beings, but man, it's ugly to see firsthand that people just can't just have just those few seconds just to say, this is something really amazing going on. This is some really amazing technology. We're going to get my children are going to get, my grandchildren are going to get the benefit from what this is. Let's give that boat 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Human nature. Giddy up. Right. Let's get into it. The Loskop chart. Okay. Here we go. Again, guys, remember, start with avionics, know where you are. Loskop is way up here, sort of northeast of Johannesburg, north of Middelburg. Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, let's start in this east area. I want to show you the old UltraHF East. This is what most people had, or still have. The guys that have bought the charts. Guys, it's not bad, but like for instance here, it is human driven. It is human driven, and the quality of the sonar is basically left up to what is there, what is underneath the boat. There's no robotics taking place. There's no robotics is a form of AI. I know some people say, yeah, but you call it artificial intelligence mapping and whatnot. It's robotics more than artificial intelligence. I see robotics as a cousin of artificial intelligence. Pure artificial intelligence would be a machine or a computer or a software, whatever, that would build this area with what it thinks should be there. Is it real? No. No, it's not real. I see even some very, very expensive software. I'm not going to give the brand away, but you're looking at well over 100,000 Rand a year for the software to process the data. They do some good, solid AI, particularly in the Nadir region, where they remove and they let the computer fill that area with what it thinks should be there. Quite bizarre. Maybe out in the sea that would work, you know, where you got reefs and then you don't have a reef. It's a clear-cut thing. That's the only two things, or a wreck. But in fresh water, there's just too much. There's just deep sea mapping is very easy from a technical perspective, but from a cost perspective, it is very expensive. Mapping the ocean is just a massive task, and is generally left up to governments and navy people, and you know, the armed forces and that type of thing. And you know, but for inland waters, it's a very, very tricky and difficult thing. A lot of things are at play, and this is something that I've been working very, very hard on for many years, as you know, nearly a decade now. Every time I do a map like this, I say, that's it. That's it. You can't get any better. You can't. And then I sit and I think, you know what, we could do this, we could do that, we could do that. And then it gets better, and it gets better, and it gets better. The downside to that, every time it gets better, you look back at your last work and you go, that's not so good. But we're all human. We can do what we can do. But let's have a look. Just this area here, for example. Let's compare this to what we've just done now, which is your UltraHF 2024 East. As you can see, it is completely different. Let's just take this section here. This is quite an interesting little section here. Let's change that to the old one. Is the data there? Yes, it is. The data is there. But you don't have ShadowMax technology. You don't have ZeroNadir. It's just human driven out, up and down, up and down, up and down. Yes, was there some fantastic information there back in the day? Yes, of course there was. But if you compare that to what we do now, it's just, I mean, just look at this perfection. Hey? Look at that. Someone might ask, what are those little wiggly lines there? That's where she drives over her own wake. She does, our boats do have transducer stabilization on a gyro type effect. But the software side of it still needs a bit of tweaking, and I think the guys will, you know, the guys are working on this type of thing all the time, but I don't think it'll be too long before that's resolved completely. But having said that, from a distance you think, oh, what's that jiggy? But if you zoom in, all the information that you would need is still there. It's not like you're going to miss something because she went over a wake or some waves. It just becomes a little bit wavy. It isn't crystal clean and clear as it normally is. You can see there's a couple there. You can see she was rocking a little bit there. But it doesn't mean you're going to miss anything. Even the tiniest little things, like, you know, like that. You aren't going to miss it. So anyway, that is the east section. As you can see, this big peninsula here, if you go to your satellite view here, let's go and turn on, no, we don't have to do that. We can just go land only. You can see this actually went out quite far. But guys, here's a problem. I wanted to just concentrate on the shallow water when I went there now. But when I got into the water, I noticed something very, very quickly. This is one of my recordings as I went out from the resort, the Forever Resort. Beautiful resort, absolutely love it. The ablutions are just stunning. Really nice place. Mcinci Holdings really should take their staff off to Loskop Forever Resort and go and spend maybe a couple of days there and have a look what a well-run organization looks like. Anyway, some more free advice there for big organizations that are related to the government. Driving out across the dam, this area here, what recording is number 44? 44 is out in the east side of, the west side of Loskop. And while it was going out, I noticed this massive thermocline sitting here at, 25, 30, 35, 40, just over 40 feet. And I remembered back the last time that I recorded this, I remember many guys, especially the Europeans, asked me, what depth is the thermocline? I said, I'll have to check. And for some other reason that has stuck in my mind, it was 43 feet. And lo and behold, I go there now this time, and that thermocline is, I don't know how much it fluctuates usually, but strangely enough, it's around that 40 to 45 foot mark, which was very, very interesting. As you can see here, that thermocline is this line here. You can see it there. But what I found really, really interesting is the amount of fish sitting on the thermocline and just above it. Guys, that's deep. That's really deep. But the amazing part is, look at the fish just sitting on that thermocline. Wait till we actually get up the river. I'll break this down for you a little bit later. But it is absolutely incredible. Okay, there's some fish you can see there. That's at what? Yeah, you see that's also sitting at that 40, 45. Look at this, from 30 feet upwards. Excuse me. There's not much going on there from a fish perspective. Anyway, let's come back to this. Back to the chart. Let's go full. So what that told me, sorry, that's what I was busy talking about. I had to cover this deeper water. So what I thought I was going to target that 30, maybe push to 40 foot range, I had to push it out to 50 foot range plus. So if you go to the UltraHF 2024 East, you can see I've gone all the way out to there in this case. All the way out to 57, just past 57 feet. And lo and behold, there's some tracks out there. Can you believe it? Very interesting. So yeah, this was the purpose of this scan then, was to make sure that we target this very deep water because of this thermocline. You know, because a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that call the thermocline the second shoreline. So if you're a bank basher, the thermocline is going to be your next shoreline. Does that make sense? So let's say you've got a bowl and the dam is at full pull and it's sitting here. When it drops, okay, your dam level drops. That becomes your new shoreline as it goes up and down with droughts or different seasons. But the thermocline, let's say you're at full pull and the thermocline, like in this case, is at 45 feet. You've got to go down 45 feet on your charts, and that is your new shoreline. If that's what you suspect, if that's what you want to target. So in a case like this, you would say, okay, so if that's my new shoreline where the thermocline is, let's cover everything up to 40 feet, because that is going to be like our next shoreline. So how do we do that? We go to our chart options, we go to our categories, we go to our areas, and we're going to turn everything off, but we're going to turn on everything. We're going to turn the colors, the isobaths, on up to 40 feet. So we can't see it, because we're going to pretend that's the land. This can take a little bit of time, unfortunately. You guys can go into your YouTube settings and pick up the speed. And this will go a lot quicker, and the video will go a lot quicker. Okay, let's go up to 42 feet. Oh yeah, this hiding down there. And there should be a 9 to 12 over there. Okay. Oh, and then we're going to change this to land only. Okay. Because of the thermocline, this is our new shoreline. See that yellow or mustard or whatever you want to call it? So what are we going to target that is close to this? And these should be your targets. If you're focusing on the thermocline, you can see those fish are really packed around the thermocline as they are here. This is going to be your new target area. Okay, look, it also comes down to developing a technique. You've got to have the technique to fish that deep, and you've got to know how to look after those fish too. That will become a huge debate. So let's just have a look down here by this area here. This is a very popular area. Let's just see around this thermocline. What have you got here? Yeah, you've got, it's just a bit of an inlet there. Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this type of thing. Let's just go full. But while we are here, this is interesting. What I've done is I've taken the old photographs from 2017, 2018, I forget now when I did it. But I've taken those photographs and I've put them onto the UltraHF. This is the first time I think I've ever done this, if I remember correctly. I'm open to correction. And the reason why I've done this is because of the incredible detail that we have on the UltraHF now. You know, with ShadowMax, ZeroNadir technology, the UltraHF is just phenomenal. So now, rather than changing to, I think on this chart was called Sky View, to see what the drone caught up before, directly off your UltraHF 2024, but it'll only be on the 2024 UltraHF. You can tap on the number, and you're now going to have an actual photograph from the sky of what those rocks look like for the area. Guys, for Loskop, of the air view, I'm not talking about the water level, because there's also a water level that you can go into, a water view. That's also here. Oh, menu, restore cursor, more options. If you go to water view, you've got another whole set of photos, which you can see are taken from the water when it was down at, I think, 80% at the time, which just gives you another perspective of what those rocks look like. It also makes it a little bit easier to target something. I think they're all pretty much the same. Yeah, nothing too spectacular there, but like I said, there's hundreds and hundreds of these photographs all around the dam. But in this case, we're going to focus on UltraHF East. We're going to focus on the these ones here, A585. Look at that. You know, you can see exactly. Let's take another one. 587. What is that? Ah, that's a brilliant one. See the road? I love these types of transitions. When someone says to you, what should I target at Loskop? And they say, oh, you must target the rocks. That's as bad as telling you to look in the water. Because Loskop is just rocks. There's just rocks everywhere. There's very few places you will find this amount of rocks. So watch out for people telling you, hey, target the rocks at Loskop. Yeah. It's like joining the Navy and asking for a long wait. You'll get a long wait. Okay. Can we see this road? Yes, there it is there. You see that road? There it runs there. Doop, 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 doop. You see that? That's brilliant. Can we see it on the satellite? Yes, you can. There you can see it on the satellite. Back. Chart options. Full. Yeah. Look, I've never been a massive fan of the satellite, but it's better than nothing. I mean, in a case like this, the resolution just isn't pretty, you know. So have a look at what else there is, you know. Yes, okay, let's move on. That is the east section. The midsection, this is a massive, massive area. This is your midsection here. You can see, phew, that, guys, that is a lot of data. I can tell you now, this really stressed the computer out. But look at the difference between, look how everything just pops. Can you see how, when the passes are just so perfectly done, it's like taking a document that's been shredded and then sticking it back together meticulously with the machine, where the machine is actually putting it back together, because that's what's essentially what these mosaics are. It's like strips of shredded information that has been stuck together. This is what happens when a human does it. Okay, that's not it. West, I don't know if this, yeah. This is the best I could do, guys. That's the best I could do as a human. Change that over to UltraHF 2024 mid. It's just, guys, you've really got to appreciate what we have here in South Africa. And the only reason why we have it is because I'm so damned obsessed with this technology. Not just the sonar, but the robotics side, the software side, the building it side, the usability side, the practical side. I see it from many, many dimensions as such a wonderful, wonderful tool. And just looking at this now, it's the first time that I've looked at this section now since building the actual chart. And I switched that over to what I did just a little while ago, not that long ago. I think it was UltraHF West. That was there. Can you see the difference? It's just, yeah. Anyway. Let's just see this picture here. What have we got there? That's also quite interesting. See that there? Watch out for that type of thing. You've got those little points. We can call that a secondary point even. As subtle as it is, fish knows it's a point. Don't just look for the big things when it comes to these charts. Sometimes look for the more subtle things. And you will get fantastic reward. Okay, that just absolutely blows my mind. Right, now let's get down to the area where everybody loves to fish. Yeah, this area was always packed. the guys love to fish this area here, and it's normally jammed up, especially this little inlet there. Just to get in there, as you can see. Sorry guys, there was basically a boat in there every single day. I had one day where I managed to get 2 little passes, pass 1, pass 2. After that, it was just jammed up every single day, and I couldn't get a boat in there. As you can see, I had to change my whole system here. But what I did notice is a lot of people were, I think they knew, I think especially, you know, you can see the guys that went on to Google and that have utilized Google Earth, but there's so much that they have missed. This area too, there was always boats here, and if we change that over to the UltraHF West, no, that wasn't the area. This is it here. This is where the boats always were sitting. We go to our satellites. You see there? Yeah, you see. That actually does show it a little bit. But if you go to your UltraHF West, now you've really got it. And guys, these boats were all sitting like here. This was a very popular spot, you know, so, and that sort of depth range. But I'm telling you guys, if these guys just came and sat out here, where that thermocline meets this point, this secondary point with the rocks, I just think it would have been a very, very productive, or more of a productive thing to do. But I see the guys, I think because they don't have the charts and how they've been taught over the years, are a little bit reluctant to go and explore these deeper areas. But I think it's worth going to have a look. I know some of you are probably watching this video and going, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. You don't find a bass in more than 12 feet of water. I got you. But my very limited fishing knowledge, practical fishing knowledge, I never really, I bank bashed for a number of years, and I would still do it, you know, just with friends and family and that, just to go and have some fun in the shallows with some fish. And every now and again, yeah, a reasonable fish would come out, which was awesome. But my preferred way of fishing was deeper water. And sometimes water that was way past my comfort depth. And I thought, how do I target deep water, but still from a structure perspective, I might be in like 45, 50 feet of water, but the cover, I know the bass are going to relate to the cover. And this is when we get on to the next subject. For example, if I had a crankbait like a Norman DD22, lavender shad, for example, one of the best baits I think ever made in history. It must be the goat. The downside to a Norman lure is they never run straight out the box. You've got to keep tweaking them. That's why my one tooth is so badly worn. I was always tweaking it to get it to run straight. Catch a fish, got to get it to run straight again. And the other problem was they ran at different depths. Whereas if you buy a Rapala, if it says it's a DT whatever, it runs at that depth. If it's been trolled, it obviously then you should actually use the troll 2 range, not the dive 2 range. But I would use the dive 2 range because there were some brilliant baits there. And then trolled on 30-pound Power Pro, so many feet behind the boat with a counter on the reel, certain speed, always a fixed speed, never fluctuate with the speed. I knew exactly what depth those things went at. And with the DD22, geez, it would vary. It would, between 20 and 30 feet, it would. And what I used to do is I used to write with the scribe on the bill what depth it would go to. So I want to show you something that I would typically target in water that is way past the depth of a DD22, for example. And I've pre-marked because I found it earlier. And the only reason why I found it was because when we were busy mapping, I had the two boats running, and they were running sort of, you can't have them too close because then you get crosstalk on the sonar. So I had them about 200-300 meters apart. So I went and ran ahead of the first one because I saw some boats go past early, and I was like, oh geez, there we go, there's my day gone to hell. And I had to go and see where these guys were. But then I saw this particular boat got quite close to where the guys were fishing just around the corner. So, and there was somebody fishing out on this point here. And a very friendly Indian guy with his family. They were having fun out on this point here. And I actually just go and talk to them and tell them what's going on. And I put Amy into circle mode, what I call circle mode. It's a little switch. You've got manual mode, circle mode, auto mode. I flicked her into circle mode, and what she does is she just drops her speed and she circles that area until I come back, because I don't want her wandering off, because that's what she likes to do. And what happened is, let's find that, because some really interesting information came from that looping. Okay, so while Amy was buzzing around in a circle, you can see she was busy driving, she was on her mission. I'll show you quickly what the mission looked like. Let's go back to the unit. I'm going to load that actual mission, this one here. It was 11 to 17. I'm going to turn that on. Can you see that green? That is her pre-planned path that she was on for the morning. This was 104 kilometers in total, but that's coming from the launch site, map this particular project or mission, and then head back, which is quite a distance. But this was the first pass of the day. So this was sort of heading down this area here. You can see here, this is where she was heading down. And then I put her into circle mode here. You see that? That is the same tree. And that is over here. She was coming down here, and I put her into circle mode. Okay, this waypoint seems a little bit off. But you see that tree there? The shadow from that tree? That is this tree here. Okay? And when I flicked into circle mode, she just kept repeating the same perfect circle, and extremely accurate. I mean, this boat's got an accurate, on average for the day, is like 20 centimeters. It's really, really accurate. But there was something very interesting about repeating exactly the same thing. The tree remains pretty much the same. The first path, she wasn't quite spot on yet, but this path, that one, and that one, she was perfectly circling, and everything was exactly the way it should be. But I noticed something very interesting here. You can see down the left there, there's that fish sitting on that edge there, which will be up on this edge here. But let's not worry about those fish down the bottom here, because there's one or two, you can see them. There's another one sitting right down the bottom. There's two fish in particular that I want to focus on. And this is them here. This behavior is just so typically bass. I've got a better shot of this. I ran this with my other software, and I just took a screenshot of it, as you can see there. There, that's better. Okay. It's these two fish. There they are there. This is on the second turn. Her first turn was a little bit, she was finding her circle, and then she did 3 full circles perfectly. And these are 3 of them. These 2 fish I find very, very interesting. And this just gets my my bass radar going. Look how they move together. I think I could be wrong. Guys, you can laugh at me all you want. But this is my prediction. This looks like a male and a female. For whatever, I know it's not spawn, it's out of the spawn. I know everyone says males and females only come together when it's the spawn and whatnot. But this to me is a big fish. A big fish and a smaller fish together. There they are there. They don't like this little boat circling 25 feet above them. Guys, keep in mind, we're in 40, at least 45 feet of water here. This is some serious depth here. What does it say here? Yeah, there we go. See there. There if you look at the sonar, I mean at the chart, you're in 45 to 48 feet of water. It looks like that tree is more in 48. But the fish you are targeting is up here. This male and female are here. You see them there on the left side of that first tree on the left. We go to the middle one. She moves right into the tree. She's not happy with what's going on. The male moves off the tree. He's not happy with hanging around, and he says to her, babes, let's get out of here. This thing above us is not lekker. And there they go. You can see there's the big female, and there's the little male there. Let's have a look what that looks like on down scan. There's the big female. There's the male. There were those fish that we spotted earlier down the bottom here. Then you can see she moves right into the tree there. You can see on that little spot there. I can't really see the male in this view. Why is this in my way? Let's get that out of there. There we go. You can see it there. And then they swim off. But this to me is the best view. This is the best one. Right there. Oh, geez, I'm moving the whole image. My apologies, guys. It's going to be about there. I didn't realize I was doing that. I was moving a copy and pasted image around a background. Okay, that wasn't very clever. But anyway, you get the idea. Now, okay, let's go back to the unit. Why is this such a good spot? Number one, you've got the deep water. You've got this main big channel here. Okay, you've got this main channel. It's coming in. It's not quite on the best contact point. The best contact point, what we would call the swing, would be over there. This is a little bit out, but the difference between that spot and this spot, if you change back to your UltraHF, is there, I don't see a tree there. This is a great looking spot too. You know, where the swing really comes in close. Look at this, it's 60, 63 feet right here. But it just looks like a big rocky edge. But what makes, that's a nice little inlet there. Ooh, that's something I would definitely have a little look-see at and pay some attention. But if you come down here, it's this blooming tree. It's the tree in the channel. And then you've got this like big steep drop-off to the side of it. The combination there of structure and cover is just unique. And if we look at this really nice crisp 2D sonar screenshot here, it gives you a pretty good idea of what those two fish did. Whether they bass or not, let me tell you, if you approach the spot and anchor locked here, let's work that out. How far do you want to be from the bank? forward scan on a live sonar, if you've got a bank in front of you, you can really push that thing out a long, long ways. So let's reset to cursor. 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 would put you just above the tree with the very steep bank at about 80 feet from you. What I would do is I would probably park there with the tree itself at about 50 feet from you, your 50-foot range, and your steep bank will then be 100 feet, 120 feet from you, 40 meters. That's where I would park. I would spot block right there on my trolley motor and scan this tree for this type of action and watch these two. If you watch some of the latest videos now of the guys that really know their live scopes, have you seen their trails? It's like this loop, 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 loop. How they're actually using their whole boat as a form of like the Furuno Omni when they're looking for big marlin. That is a game changer. That transducer, the Furuno Omni, is an, let me tell you, if the bass guys are getting upset about forward-facing sonar, go and Google the Furuno Omni for marlin. That would just, I think Randy Blaukat, no, he'd have to be hospitalized. That would just freak him out too much. But this is your way of getting back to your comfort zone. If you say, listen, 20 foot, 25 feet, that's me, I'm done, I'm not fishing anything more than that. But you're in nearly 50 feet of water. It's because of the deep thermocline, and you've got this amazing cover, which is the tree, which you've got the perfect structure, which is the bank and the channel coming close to the bank. Then you've got this cover of this tree there, and obviously the fish are relating to it. And that is something really worth, now I'm sitting at home and I'm thinking to myself, if I had a DD22 lavender shad there, that's the perfect depth for it. I would run that down there behind the boat and I'll just clip the top of that tree, and that is your trigger. Very often, if I felt that DD22, especially if it got hooked up slightly in one of those lighter branches, along the top of a big tree, and then as it pops out of the tree, I found that that's how I caught my PB, was a Norman lure popping out of a tree. I know a lot of guys change their hooks on the Norman lures, they say because the trebles are just too soft. Let me tell you, those trebles are soft for a reason. Don't crank your fish in on a winch and lock your drag up. You've got to fight him. Give him a chance. But when you lock that drag up to get it out of a tree and then drop your drag off again, you want that hook to give. If it doesn't give, it's stuck. It's not coming out of the tree. You're going to have to go there with a lure knocker and go and knock it out. Anyway, this is just some advice from a rambling old fisherman. Well, not that old, but oldish fisherman. Yes, back to the charts. Got a little bit distracted there, but it was fun. It was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed that type of discussion. Guys, there's just so much. It's actually insane. It's taken me. When did I get back? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's taken me 9 days to build this. It took 6 days to record it, but it's taken me 9 days to build it. But it's worth it. It's my new best chart. I want to go back to Loskop and go and fish. And oh man, what a lovely place to stay. The amenities, the fuel is there, the shop is there, the restaurant is there, there's a pool there. Okay, getting a little bit cool now. it really, the Forever Resort at Loskop really is a phenomenal place to stay. I can imagine certain times of the year it must get hectic with people, but I've never seen it like that. It's been relatively quiet, just with the old fogies, the retirees. But yeah, guys, the guys that already have the old Loskop chart, remember, if you have a Fish Tech subscription, the update is free. You just got to pay for the courier, to send your old chart back to us. Make sure there's no ho on it, and we send you a new one. You do pay for the courier, but that's it. If you don't have a valid subscription, if you've bought a chart in the last 12 months, then every chart we sell comes with a free 12-month subscription, and you can use that subscription to update all your charts, not just the chart that you bought, which is a fantastic feature or offering. If you do not need another chart and you did buy your chart more than 12 months ago, you can just buy the subscription, and it's R1,000, and all your charts, every single chart that you've got that you would like to update, if there is an update available for it, send it back to us. Or if you feel, listen, this thing's really, this SD card's not looking good, it's getting a little bit worn out, you got two options there. Either you can pay for a new SD card, send your one back, and we'll put the data onto a new card for you at a cost. I think it's about R150 for an average 16 gig card. Or if you've got a very fancy card, remember, no more than 32 gigs maximum. If you've got a very fancy card, you say, listen, I've invested a lot of money in this card, I want my charts put on this card. Put it in the box with your, excuse me, our voice is going. Put it in the box with your old chart, send it back, and we'll put it on there for you. No extra charge. Obviously, you've paid for the card. And yeah, you guys all know, get hold of Colleen. To get hold of me and say, hey John, I'd like to sort out my new charts. I'm like 100% done. And then I walk out the office and into the workshop, and it's gone. I'm a one-trick pony. So you guys that think that I have this amazing capability to walk and chew bubblegum at the same time, I don't. Get hold of Colleen. Colleen is your gateway to getting your charts and your updates and all that type of thing. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't have anything else to tell you guys. I know this has been a very long video. I will do little clips and try and break it up into smaller pieces. So everybody, once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.